Fayetteville Board of Education. Mr. DeAndrea, has this meeting been duly noticed Open Public Meeting Act?
Yes, it has, Mr. McEnroe.
Okay, everybody please stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Falcon. Here. Mrs. Bacco.
Here.
Mr. Bishada.
Here.
Mr. Bruno Raguya.
Here.
Mr. Syak.
Here.
Mrs. Esposito.
Here.
Mr. Lembo.
Here.
Mrs. Kraft.
Here.
And Mr. McEnroe.
Present. Dr. Alfano, we have some presentations.
Yes, Mr. McEnroe. The first presentation was done by the NJEA, and I want to congratulate the cafeteria ladies, as it's called. It's really a very well done documentary about the new cafeteria and what goes on in the cafeteria. So without further ado, Ms. Paul will put it on, and hopefully you'll enjoy it.
War Memorial High School's cafe ladies are busy. They make lunch for 750 hungry students every school day. A new state-of-the-art kitchen makes it possible to offer students a great variety of options.
I like the chicken patties. They have it like all the time, but I like to try something different. Like everything different, like nachos, the fajitas, the buffalo chicken wraps. I like to try everything different, you know?
All about my peppers.
Thank you.
I like very much the chicken sandwiches and the cheesesteak, and they have chicken parmesan. That's good. I like to get pasta on pasta days, and the Mexican food is good too.
The old cafeteria was built in the 1960s and served about 350 students a day. Sayreville's population exploded in the past 5 years, and now 1,800 students use the cafeteria. The cafe ladies are much happier with the new and improved kitchen. Manager and cook Pat Lieberman gave us a tour showing off the new equipment.
Steamer, which holds 50 pounds of pasta you can make at one time. Again, another amazing piece of equipment.
This is just like a dream, it really is. The state of the art, it's the equipment that we have. It's just amazing. The time you save, you know, and it makes for great working conditions, absolutely. You can move around, and that's why we were able to put with the food court. We have the middle sections, which has their fruits and a la carte items, so they can just grab and go. And this way, there's not too many lines. With 4 registers, there is no line, you know, so they have more time to eat.
In the old kitchen, there was one cold item at lunch. Pizza had to be ordered in.
When I was a freshman, when the old cafeteria was here, I used to brown bag it because I didn't really like the food choices because there weren't many to choose from. And now I don't because I have so many choices.
It was no better during construction of the new cafeteria when students ate lunch in an auxiliary gym.
It was a little crowded in there. I mean, it's like a gym, you know, you can't have lunch in an auxiliary gym. That's just complicated. They have basketball hoops over our heads while we're eating, which is amazing. I used to shoot them on my pretzels in there once in a while. Got in trouble once.
Lunch is a very big hit. I mean, you're sitting there in class, I mean, I know me especially, I love eating, so can't wait until lunch comes, especially to get food, to get snacks and stuff, so by the time my lunch period comes, can't wait to go get lunch.
A snack bar in the cafeteria provides water, juice, and baked potato chips for students who still brown bag it.
All right, thank you very much.
The school's food and nutrition director couldn't wait for the new, larger kitchen to be built because now it's easier to meet requirements for serving nutritious, portion-controlled meals and healthier foods like salads and fruit.
We use reduced fat items where we can, low-fat dressings to fat-free dressings for salads, turkey-based products, whole wheat crusts in our pizzas, whole wheat options for the bread that's offered. And even though we still use breaded items, we don't fry anything.
Most of us are parents and, we're mothers and wives and, we have family members. And, the one thing with family is there's always good food, in good company. And, the school is the same way. It's kind of like a family, and you want to make sure that they have good food. It is it's something special. Food has always been special with people.
And on special occasions, the new kitchen serves the entire Sayreville community.
I make everything from scratch for our dinner. It's a fundraiser for brain injured children. National Honor Society at the high school puts this together each year, and we've been able to donate over the years thousands of dollars to the local cause.
We are very important to the school. We are part of the community, we live in the community, and we serve the community. We serve the kids here, and we're very proud of what we do, and we know we do a good job here. And we do it because we love what we do. We love the kids.
Excellent. And one of the stars of the show, Mr. Lehman, is here. Stand up and be recognized.
You get paid?
Paisan, do they have chicken parmesan when you go to school?
Yeah, we had chicken parmesan where I came from. Sure we did.
Mr. O'Connor, is that true? Cafeteria good? Hold on to the floor. Welcome to be here, okay?
Mr. McEnroe,
Yes, sir.
we have another report
Yes, we do.
of progress, and I'll turn it over to Sutherland on Title I.
Thank you.
As one of the requirements for receiving Title I funding, each year we are required to report the results of students who are in Title I programs. What I'm going to do for you tonight is to just tell you the number of students in grades 1 through 5 who were enrolled in Title I language arts programs, and then tell you the number that exited. In language arts, we had 367 students in the program, and 157 exited, which means 42.7 of the district's elementary students who are in Title I exited. That's a fabulous percentage. In math, we had 275 students in the program, and 164 exited, for a percentage of 59.6. Once again, these are our most needy students with regard to language arts and math skills, and to have nearly 50% in each group to exit each year, we're very proud of that and the work of our teachers. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it, Mr. McEnroe.
Okay, everybody should receive the copy of the September 21st meeting minutes. Does anyone have any suggestions, recommendations, changes to the minutes? Mrs. Back.
Page 4. This was a question I asked last month about the quotes for the system. If you could just put in there that it was the low quote that was awarded.
Any other additions, deletions? If not, I'll take a motion to accept and file the minutes.
I move the minutes be approved as amended.
Need a second?
Second.
Need a roll call vote.
Mr. Balka?
Yes.
Mrs. Backo?
Yes.
Mr. Bishada?
Yes.
Mrs. Jonah-Lakuya?
Yes.
Mr. Sayak?
Yes.
Mrs. Esposito?
Yes.
Mr. Lembo?
Yes.
Mrs. Strapp?
Yes.
And Mr. McEnroe.
Yes. Our student council representative, Mr. Terrence O'Connor. Tell us what's going on campus.
Homecoming last Friday was a success with the theme Support Our Troops. Homecoming King was Daniel Seaman and the homecoming theme was Vanessa Gonzalez. It was great to see so many current veterans and current troops in our stadium. As an added bonus, the Bombers football team won the game. Unfortunately, pep rally has been postponed due to inclement weather Friday though. It has been rescheduled to take place Friday, October 29th. October is Pride in Our School Month, where we honor all of our fall sports teams. Students are encouraged to wear Bomber sports apparel to support our teams. Also, the Student Council's UNICEF campaign will begin soon. Boxes will be sent to the middle school to collect money for UNICEF. People are encouraged to donate to this worthwhile cause.
Thank you. I want to add, I thought the homecoming was very good this year. And I don't know if anybody's here from the high school administration, but to pass on, it was very well done. And what they particularly did with the veterans was certainly a nice touch. So please pass that on, Dr. Howell. Our parent involvement representative, Ms. Jen Stryker. How are you?
Good, how are you? At the October Parent Involvement Committee meeting, we talked about Violence Prevention Month. This year, there's no funding for character education. This was cut out of the budget, but we will be able to maintain parts of the program and coordination of the program. Our program has always been an award-winning program. We also reviewed the Violence and Vandalism Annual Report. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lembo, you have some highlights for us.
Yes, we do. Mr.
Yes.
Lembo, can I just make a comment before? Right now, we're going to try to put the district highlights right in the body of the consent agenda. And for this time, we also have part of the highlights that are also on the addendum. So there is one bullet that's on the addendum, and three or four are on the regular agenda. So, Mr. Lembo.
It's that time of year when students and faculty of the Sayreville School District open up their pantries and open up their hearts. The Samsell Upper Elementary School student ambassadors, along with Arliff Elementary School, Eisenhower Elementary, and Sayreville Middle School, are having their annual food drive. As was done in the past, donations of non-perishable foods will be donated to the Sayreville Care and Share Food Bank. This year, they will also be donating food to St. Vincent de Paul Food Bank. The hope is to stock the shelves for those families in Sayreville who may need assistance. The students will be delivering the food to the food banks on November 12th. Let's have a record-setting year. We are so proud to announce that Mrs. Jennifer Mayhew, math, science, and social studies teacher at the Samsell Upper Elementary School, and the 2009-10 Green Team was chosen to represent the Sayreville School District at the Garden State Green Fest on October 1st at the Garden State Exhibit Center in Somerset, New Jersey. The presentation was entitled Reducing Your Carbon Footprint and was chosen because it addresses environmental awareness, and its intention was to serve as an inspiration to other school district administrators in attendance. Congratulations to Mrs. Jennifer Mayhew and her Green Team. Congratulations to school psychologist Mrs. Cynthia Rucala Defina. She has been voted by her fellow school psychologists statewide to serve this year as President-elect of the New Jersey Association of School Psychologists. She will take over as president in June 2011 and serve for 1 year. Cynthia began her career in Sayreville as an intern and now works as a school psychologist at the preschool and elementary levels. We're also proud to extend yet another congratulations to a member of our district family. Congratulations to Dr. Denise Steiner, school psychologist at the Samsell Upper Elementary School, for earning her Doctor of Psychology degree this past May from Rutgers University. The district recognizes the discipline and dedication required to complete this rigorous program while always giving 100% to the children of Sayreville. On September 30th, Truman School nurse Mrs. Charlene Kenny and office clerk Mrs. Palma Van Gaten played an instrumental role in administering medical assistance to a child who was accidentally injured. Due to Mrs. Kenny's expert knowledge and talents, as well as the ready and willing assistance of Mrs. Van Gaten, they were able to provide butterfly bandages to a critical injury. The plastic surgeon complimented them on the way in which they were able to react quickly and efficiently. The surgeon never saw butterfly bandages done so professionally. Kudos to Mrs. Kenny and Mrs. Van Gaten on the teamwork that truly made a difference for this child. Also compliments to this child who was remarkably brave and calm throughout the situation. Concludes our highlights, Mr. President.
Thank you. Dr. O'Fonnell, can you take us through the superintendent's report?
Thank you, Mr. McEnroe. I'll go through them slowly. A, Buildings and Grounds, page 3. Ms. Sutherland will go over the violence and vandalism report of 2009-10.
Once again, this is another NCLB requirement. Under NCLB guidelines for Title IV funding, the board is requested to view the following annual district report of violence and vandalism for 2009-2010 at the October public meeting. The report must be read at this meeting and the public must be offered an opportunity to comment if they so desire. Section A, count of incidents by reporting category. Violence, 57. This is 20 fewer than the previous year. Vandalism, 5. This is 12 fewer than the previous year. Weapons, 6. This is 1 fewer than the previous year. Substance abuse, 7. 2 less than the previous year. Unduplicated count of 71. Cost of vandalism. Incidents involving cost to the district, 3. Actions taken. Police notified, no complaint, 36. That's 29 fewer than the previous year. Police notified, complaint filed, there were 6. That was 1 more than the previous year. In-school suspensions, 1. Out-of-school suspensions, 102. Expulsions, unilateral removals, removal by ALJ, 0. Offenders and victims, student offenders, 96. 28 fewer than the previous year. Student victims, 31. 21 fewer than the previous year. School personnel victims, 3. 7 fewer than the previous year. Student victims of violent criminal offense, 2. This is 2 more than the previous year. Program provided upon disciplinary action, assignment, instruction, or support services, 94. In-school program, 2. In-district program, 3. Home instruction, 94. And out-of-district program, 0. At this time, anyone in the public may be offered an opportunity to comment. Let the record show no one, oh, I'm sorry.
Can I comment? Barbara Kilcummins. It's on. Barbara Kilcummins, 22 Schmidt Street. My question is, weapons, 6. That really scares me. Could you comment on what the weapons were?
There were no guns. Basically, the weapons that were brought in were knives, and the majority of them were accidentally brought into school. They were small personal knives.
Well, it's knives.
Again, weapons are weapons.
Weapons are weapons,
But
true.
the bulk of the weapons were brought in accidentally, but however reviewed. I can tell or recall of 2 cases where it was brought in for the purpose of using, but that never happened.
My question is about, after speaking to several teachers when they had the lockdown in Old Bridge, does our schools go through lockdown terrorist drills?
That's mandated, ma'am.
It
1
is
month.
Per month?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The other thing is, out-of-school suspension. You have 1 in-school suspension. And my comment is, many times, students that misbehave look for a day off in suspension. And is there any way that you could possibly give them some type, like people that are offensive in the community, they have community service? Is there anything within the guidelines of the school system that you can give any type of service? I mean, not for it to be demeaning, but that they could assist and clean up the kitchen, help clean up classrooms?
There are specific guidelines with regard to the activities that student can be engaged in. And there are also insurance requirements for students engaged in activities in the community, and those are the reasons why we don't do either of what you suggested.
But why
We do have a lot of kids that are in school suspended, but not for this report. They don't hit this report because it's not a violent incident. It could be cutting and those types of things. So we do have an in-school suspension program in middle school and in high school. I do agree with you, it's not like a day off.
Yes.
And school suspension.
I didn't look forward to it.
These are more serious offenses, and the more serious offenses, you're bound by putting the child out.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you. Moving forward, Section B, Finance. Sections 1 through 6, numbers 1 through 6 are our regular resolutions. Item number 7 is nursing services. On page 6, page 7, number 8. Ms. DeAndrew, would you like to just comment on that a little bit?
This is the required wording for submittal down to the State Department for the solar energy project that we're currently investigating. The paperwork was signed today by Dr. Farrell, myself, and Mr. McEnone, and will be submitted down to the state.
Could you just share the figures that was in the email you sent for the public's benefit?
Currently, the cost estimate by the architects, 8 buildings with solar panel, I believe 4 with roofing, and the Olive School HVAC upgrades came out to $19,218,000.
And how much are we requesting the state
We don't know at this point. That's the process we're currently in, is determining our final eligible cost. Will it be an SDA grant or a straight debt service grant? That's yet to be determined. We're just waiting on word from the state when those numbers will be released. And until we have those numbers, we cannot put forward a resolution to approve a referendum.
Any anticipation of when that might be?
No. There have been no dates issued.
Question. On the bottom where it says board attorney and architect, is that the board attorney and board architect, or is that the architect that was hired?
The board attorney and the board architect.
Board architect. So the board architect is also going to provide services outside the other architect?
Yes. Well, I apologize. When this reads the board architect, it means the architect for this project.
So it means
The Cara Rubini.
Okay, so it's not the board?
No.
Okay.
Well, they are your architect.
We don't have a board per se architect. We
Right,
hire
right now
by
you
project.
I thought we hired land.
Yes, but you also hired the Cara Rubini.
Right, so this is only for the Carroll?
Yes.
Okay, moving to number 9 on page 8, disposal of equipment. Number 10 is $150 per session for our trainers. Item 11 is a firm for educational consulting fees for LDTC. Moving to page 10. Item number 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 are change orders to the high school, which add up to about, when you factor in the credits, about $36,000. Any questions with section B?
Number 13, the wood shop, can you elaborate what work that was?
There was additional work required to properly vent the dust and everything else that was included in there. Changes that we moved equipment and things of that nature around.
And number 10, how is that $150 determined? Is it a contractual amount? Where does that go?
No, this is something that we discussed last year, where that is actually a 3-hour process where we're paying for their preparation time, the actual time for the training itself, and it comes out to about 3-4 hours for them to do that. So we had said last year that we were going to do $150 per session, rather than breaking it down like $100 an hour. So whatever it takes them to do the sessions, they get paid $150, which is really, in all due respect, a bargain if we went out to EDC.
Per session, not per hour?
Per session. We changed that.
Oh, it's changed?
Yeah, we changed that. Originally, it was per hour session.
Okay, so
we
mine says
changed
per
it.
hour, so.
Yeah,
yours says the
no,
hour.
we threw out the word hour.
I got it.
Per session.
Got it.
Thank you, Mr. McEnroe.
And Mrs. Backo, that number doesn't have to be negotiated because it's all grant money.
Will we be training other?
Yes. Item C, personnel, non-certified. We have a resignation, a student placement, an amendment to hourly wage, A job coach at $53 per set per hour, and most part-time paraprofessionals of employment. Any questions with section C? With none, moving to D. There's a rescind of an appointment because later on you'll see that Mr. John Wojcik is no longer the JV coach, he will be the varsity coach, and we wish him well down there. I see him sitting there, figured out why he was sitting in one of our meetings, but we wish you very well, and we expect at least 25 wins this year. Congratulations.
I was going to say undefeated, he said.
Well, if he gets 25, we'll be happy. But well-deserving, and I want to thank Mr. Katanovich and Mr. Gentile, who pretty much headed the committee, and it worked out very well. And I'm very happy, and couldn't ask for a better person. Plus, Mr. Talamini gave me a recommendation. He was my basketball coach, believe it or not. And he's still alive. Number 2, SAT prep from a Sayreville Adult School. It's Mr. Babiat and Mr. Inverno. Number 3 are professional days for the following people. Moving on to page 14. These are the new people who we just employed. Number 5 is a rescind of Mr. Curry as the high school basketball coach. And as I said before, congratulations to Mr. Wojcik. And number 7 are the new substitute teachers. Any questions with number 4? I'm sorry, with D. Moving to E, policy. There are 3 different policies that are for first reading. Policy 2255, which is action planning for state monitoring, New Jersey CUSAC. We actually should have did this last year, but we just got the update. Better late than never. Moving on, item 3100, which is on page 18, is budget planning, preparation, and adoption. And the last one is on page 22, which is 3220, 3230, which is state and federal funds. These are all required, and they are right from the Jersey School Boards. Any questions with the section on policy?
I have a question. Page 22, the Special Education Medicaid Initiative, is that something new or is that something we've always done?
We've done that.
We've done it?
Yeah, this year, I think, Carol, why don't you comment on that? Because
No, how much money?
we've done pretty well. We started out with about 70,000, and I believe, Ms. Duffy, we've done much better.
Yeah, this year I think we reached about 150% of our benchmark. So this year I think it was, don't quote me on this exactly, but I think about $117,000 recouped from services for Medicaid eligible children.
Very good job.
Yep.
So,
Thank the child study team, they did a fabulous job on that.
all right, moving to section F. These are special education placements on page 27, different services. Any questions on section F? With none, moving to G, co-curricular. There is a social, grade 6 social, a career council college fair, athletic vision, which is designed to educate student athletes on what they need to be eligible and to move forward into the college ranks. So this is a very important workshop that Mr. Katanovich works out, and it's pretty well attended. Number 4 is Vox Humana Club is being rewarded with a luncheon with the mayor. And there's a tricky tray. And 6 and 7 is the moving of the senior class trip, and the reason we're moving it is because the AP tests are being given the week that we originally had the trip scheduled for, so we moved it. Any questions with J?
I have a question.
Sure.
Where is Kennedy Plaza?
Can you talk into the mic?
For number 4, where is Kennedy Plaza?
It's in the park, isn't it?
It's in the shop center. We didn't end up on it before. Any other questions? Moving on, H, support services. Number 1 is a waiver of transportation. Item 2 are a number of field trips. Item 3 is the high school academic competition team trips. And last but not least are the bus emergency evacuation drills that were conducted by each school and principal. That concludes my report, Mr. McEnroe.
Any questions from the board on the agenda items before I open up the public? The addendum, Dr. Bonney, do you have an addendum?
I am. Thank you very much, Ms. Bacco. I'm sorry. Yes, so moving to the addendum, item B. This is the educational consultant services, and I'm going to add at the end, not to exceed 5 days. That's in item B. Any other questions with item number 19 is the submittal of the IDEA application of $1.3 million, and preschools a little over 60,000. Any questions on the addendum with item B? With none, moving to personnel. There's an additional hire and some substitutes. I would like to comment on the retirement of Mr. Wallace. I worked with Mr. Wallace for 2 years. He was always an intricate part of the middle school and always was there to help me whenever I needed any of the help, and I want to wish him very well in his retirement. Number 9 is a grant of a pregnancy leave. Any questions with item D? With none, moving to G on the addendum. There's 2 blood drives, and H is the shuttle for the CERT members for the Middlesex County Fire Academy. That concludes my report.
We have a highlight, too.
The highlight was done by...
Yeah. Okay, any questions from the board for open up the public? If not, at this time, I'd like to open up the public for any questions, comments you have on the agenda items. Please come up, state your name and address for the record. Be mindful that we will open up again for the public for any business that may come before the board. Anybody from the public on agenda items?
I wait to give anybody else an opportunity, but apparently I'm the only one. Sorry about that, Mr. McEnroe.
That's fine. It's always a pleasure, Mrs. Gill.
B, finance on the addendum. Could you please elaborate what firm receives $1,000 a day and for what purpose?
Excellent
And I was
question.
happy to hear not to exceed 5
Excellent
days.
question that I asked
If
earlier.
that was open.
Ms. Kilcummings, this is really part of a... what's that? Carol, she could say it better. Yeah, I'm limited on what I can say.
Yeah, it's going to be for a very limited period of time, and it's someone whose qualifications are unparalleled and whose input, I think, is going to be very valuable. I know it's shocking, that number is shocking, but I think it speaks to the expertise of this particular person, and I think she's going to help move a lot of initiatives forward. 5 days.
What initiatives, I mean, what purpose of special ed that you would have someone that, a firm that would get $1,000 a day?
Specifically, it's for a limited purpose, a limited number of days, and there may be other people out there who could provide these services, but not with the quality and not with the final product that we're going to get from this person. And if you would like to examine her credentials or whatever it might be, but we're going to get, I think, the kind of thorough review that we want from this person.
Now, would this encompass a certain amount of students?
Yes,
I mean,
yes, it will.
Is this to
Yes, it will. I mean, we
help
have
teachers, or
It's a
is this
pupil-related
to
service.
evaluate students?
Yes, it's a no, it's not to evaluate students. It's a pupil-related service, a program-related service, and I think this is the first time you've addressed an issue that's been directed towards special services. So I think you understand how fiscally conservative I am, and I think that.
No, I don't mean to offend you.
No, you're not
just
offending
curious,
me,
because
but
it seems like an exorbitant amount.
I know that number looks shocking, but Sometimes to get the best, you have to pay a figure like this that would invite comment from the public. But I'm very convinced that this person is going to deliver a quality product that will affect outcomes for a lot of children.
Okay, well, it's glad to hear Dr. O'Connell say it's only not to exceed 5 days. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Copeland. Anyone else from the public about agenda items only? If not, I'll close the public portion for agenda items, and I'll take a motion to accept and file the superintendent's report.
So moved.
Second motion?
Need a roll call vote.
Mr. Balcom?
Yes.
Mrs. Backo?
I'm going to vote no on number 8. It's on my page 6, the architect firm, the architect for the solar. I'm just not sure if my agenda's the same, but it's page 6, number 8. Well, it's for the solar, the referendum.
And you voted no on the resolution?
Yeah, number 8.
Voted no on the resolution.
Of the resolution to submit the paperwork. Mr. Bishara?
Yes.
Mrs. Bruno Rakuya?
Yes.
Mr. Syak?
Yes.
Mrs. Esposito?
Yes.
Mr. Lembo?
Yes.
Mrs. Stratton?
Yes.
And Mr. McNamara?
Yes. Okay, any background information discussion? Dr. Alfano, just wanted to take the next step forward in the last meeting we had about the overcrowding in the elementary schools. I think we should have another meeting now. What are your thoughts? I know we had one
I
conversation.
brought our thoughts from the committee to actually, I call them the experts, the elementary principals, and they had some great recommendations that I think the committee should hear, and possibly we can pretty much stave off maybe 3 years worth of moving anybody. So I think we should get together as a committee again. I will send out an email, but this time I'd like the elementary principals, including Ed Aguilas, to be there as well.
Okay.
So this way we can sort of talk about this, and basically this is not going to cost us any money. And I think what it's going to be is we started talking about other ways of getting our enrollments and our class sizes down a little bit. And they had some good suggestions. So I'll send out an email to the committee, and I'll report back to the full board.
Okay, I think that'd be a good idea to do that. And I think the sooner the better. Any other background information, discussion? If not, Mr. Sack, what's happening in the state of New Jersey? What do we want to know?
Well, there's 2 items. First of all, at the conference in Somerset on the 19th, they are attempting to schedule the acting commissioner of education to speak and address the group. That'll be in a session that begins, I believe, at 3:30 on Tuesday and runs till 5:30. The only other major...
The last time Secretary of Education spoke to a group of educators, it was 5.
We're hoping that doesn't repeat again, but I don't think those 2 events were linked. Okay.
He was in Sayreville, though, Mr. McEnroe.
Yes.
He's in Somerset.
He's in
But
Somerset
with an
this
S,
time,
you
so
never
it should be
know.
okay. Sayreville might have been actually the last place that saw him speak as the commissioner.
That's what I'm saying.
That's very well might be.
And the other piece of legislation which is making its way through is in response to a SCI report investigating the practices of the New Jersey Interscholastic Athletic Association. One of the recommendations from that report is that the NJSIAA be put under the New Jersey School Boards Association, or have a separate monitor proposed for them, or be put directly under the Department of Education. There's legislation being promulgated with that one, and we're going to watch where that one goes.
Excellent. The discussion, Mr. Sack, I'll direct this to you. When I pulled in the parking lot tonight for the meeting, I think I saw the high school sign working on both sides. Now, did somebody do a chant with a dead chicken over that, or what happened?
Dr. Alfano and I have an agreement that I'm reserving all congratulations until December, after a time period in which it's been working for 3 solid months. But so far, we think that we have a solution, but as I said, I'm going to hold off congratulations until December.
The gentleman actually, service technician actually came up from Florida. What it apparently is that there is a telephone line that is apparently the cause of the sign disruption. Right now we have communication with the sign at the actual sign portal. There's an outside portal where you can do everything. And we are in the process of purchasing a wireless system, so we no longer have to deal with wires that run underground to the sign.
I have to thank Mr. DeAndrea because he made a special deal with the gentleman who was fixing the sign. He needed a dirty water dog, and that's how we finally finished the sign.
They sent him the Nagels.
We sent our, we sent in our expert.
Yeah, guy came from Florida.
Well, I'm personally glad to see that we routinely come back and forth to space that we can fix this sign. This is a good omen. Other thing under discussion, for the last couple of days, Dr. Alfano and I have been communicating with the Association of Sayville Indian Americans about the use of the UES on this upcoming couple of weekends, to the point that the mayor got involved as well. And the question is, I don't know, was last year we voted for the board agreed to a fee schedule for these facilities, and the rationale at the time was that we need to come up with a fee that applies to everybody. Because there are several organizations that use that facility. I know Hindi USA does. I know the American Indians have their powwow there. And it was the consensus of this board to come up with a standard fee that applies to everybody to make it fair. So the question I have, so I can bring it up, is are we still okay with that? Do we want to make any adjustments to the fee schedule as requested by this organization?
Well, wait a minute. What organization?
The Association of Sayville Indian Americans, which is a local group that uses our schools quite often. They're Sayville folks. That
Right now, they're being, you want me to basically say how much they're being billed?
Yeah.
Okay, and this is according to our fee schedule. Right now, they're being billed, obviously, to use the gymnasium for 2 days, which is $920 per day, which is $1,840. They use also, now remember, there's 500 to 700 people there. They're using the cafeteria 2 days as well, 515, which is 1,030. Use of the buildings is 2,870. They have custodial coverage, which we utilize the max, 9.5 hours for 2 custodians each day. That runs you about a little over $2,000. The total cost is about $4,960.
So it was brought to my attention that that might be excessive, and if the board was willing to make any adjustments in the fee schedule. I assured the leadership that I would bring it up to the board.
Are they profiting from this?
No, it's a way to explain to me is a religious ceremony.
So they don't charge?
They don't charge entrance for people that don't. No, they just use the facility to do their religious ceremony.
They also, Mr. McEnroe, no, it's a ceremony. They burn candles and things of this nature.
No, it's not the school.
And the biggest thing, we also have another issue that Mr. McEnroe and I were talking about, if you recall, that we limited them from burning the candles because there was some damage to the gym floors. They're also asking us if they would allow them again to, I guess part of the ceremony that they do, they burn candles. They said they would be extra careful and would pay for whatever, obviously, damages that they had. So I asked Mr. McEnroe, well, we did go to the fire code marshal, and he said, you basically, if they're careful, he's fine with it. Which we did go to the fire code. We did that last year.
Plus, we will have staff here supervising as well.
Well, you have custodians.
Yeah, we have 2 custodians.
Right, that they're.
We need direction.
So we're charging them the same as we charge
We're
everybody
charging
else?
them the same as we charge anybody else. What Mr. McEnroe is asking is, do we want to give them a 10% reduction, 20% reduction, 25% reduction, or no reduction, or 50%?
What is the reason for the deduction?
Well, they're asking.
They're asking.
Does anybody else get the deduction?
No, that's.
Then they shouldn't get it either.
Well,
we do a volume discount.
Yeah.
Correct?
Correct.
But this is not a volume.
We also, let me just say, we did, remember, someone else, one of these Indian USA is also using our schools, and we did give them a reduction in price of about, I believe it was 67%. We only charged them 50 rather than 150.
They were
But they're using classrooms. They're using classrooms. Yes, it's not a volume, it's not the volume. I'm just letting you know that we have done
But that was a complete school year.
Correct.
This is
Correct.
2 days.
This is 2 days.
And they're not using the same facility.
Plus the volume, this is, you're talking between 500 and 700 people.
And
we rent out the school to other groups?
Mostly, a lot of the Indian groups. Most of the Indian groups, they really do utilize our
And they're the
buildings.
Sayreville residents, so they live here.
I couldn't tell you.
Well, the name of the group is the Association.
I think a lot of them are not.
It's the Sayreville.
Yeah.
So there are some at Sayreville, but I would think some might be out of town.
Are you suggesting we amend the policy for this
I
particular group?
I
or-
suggest nothing. All I did was when I was approached by the leadership, I said, we have a policy that the board has adopted. And I said, he asked for a look at that schedule, and I told him that I would bring it up to the board and I will let them know. I'm not advocating anything, I'm just throwing it out there. Again, remember, we came up with a fee schedule so we wouldn't have this problem.
Correct.
Okay, that everybody pays the same thing. But I don't want to go back to somebody and say, I'm going to talk to the board, then I didn't.
Could you put this in a yes or a no form of a question, like what you're asking?
I'm not asking anything. Okay, I will ask that. Do we want to stick to the fee schedule that we established by policy last year? Yes or no, Mrs. Repuli?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop?
Yes, but one comment. Ask the mayor if he could look into using the senior center and see what his answer would be.
I'll have him review the tape tomorrow. Ms. Stratton?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Follow policy.
Yes,
I support the
And,
board.
and the only other
I
question.
will be the bearer of bad news tomorrow.
And the only other thing that Mr. McEnon and I also said is, do we still want to prohibit them from lighting candles?
Yes.
Yes. I don't want that.
Well,
If you gotta read.
listen, let's start for a second. The way it was explained to me, and I've never attended any of these ceremonies,
No,
but that is a very integral part of the ceremony. Without that.
Was that mentioned before they asked to use the facility?
They did it before. They've done it in the past.
Yeah, we stopped them, I think it was last year, because Mr. Aguilar, correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Fine, that they kind of marked up the floor a little
But
bit.
it wasn't this group, it was another group.
It was another group, it wasn't
wasn't this
it wasn't this group, was it Adrian? I don't think it was this group. Well,
I think it could pose a problem.
well, Kevin, the fire marshal, did give them permission to do it.
Kevin Washington.
No, the fire, Kevin.
Krasinski?
Yeah, the fire marshal. And he did come in and said that they could do it. We stopped them only because we didn't want them marking up the floor. Is that correct, Ms. Briggs? How, and then a question that I have, rather than putting the board in the middle of it, what would your recommendation be? I don't want to put you on the spot, but... And they can burn a bonfire back there, is that what you're saying?
Well, you know, if they were to do it outside, they probably would not.
They don't want to do it, they have to do it inside as part of the ceremony.
Now, the way it was explained to me is the other group that marked the floor had candles on the floor. They don't have candles on the floor. They have candles that they hold, like in a procession type of thing. So it's a little two different things. So when I brought that to his attention about the floor in the past, he said, we don't put candles on the floor. That's not, us that have done that. And we verified that would be the case.
When is this, Mike?
I think it's this
In
weekend.
November.
Oh, it's this week? What's
No,
the date?
I'll tell you, hold on.
You have the invoice.
Is there a security deposit required for damages for this?
Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna,
Yeah, I think that.
Dr. Rappan, if I could.
It's October 9th and
I'd like to bring this
October-
towards our insurance carriers, because open flames in the school is not a normal practice of the school. So
That's a good idea.
if you wouldn't mind, first time I'm hearing about candles in the school, I would like to bring it to our insurance people and make sure there may not be an issue with that.
well, in answer to the question of the dates, it's the 9th and the 16th, so it's this weekend
Of October.
of October.
Well, I say no. I say no. Will you
No, I
answer?
didn't
Is there a
ask, I didn't ask a
question?
question.
Well, they're answering the question,
Well,
so.
regarding the candles, candles?
Candles.
Well, before,
You're not being very clear.
If it was November, we could have talked about it, we could have.
I would prefer to go the insurance route because that,
It's this weekend, Mike.
Could be convenient.
well, okay,
All I can offer is
so you can call tomorrow and say
All
insurance
I can
guy.
do is offer as a suggestion, and I'm not sure about the originals. You could get one of those candles that are battery operated. I'm not, nothing against the original, but if it's part of it, they could always go that route, but I could reach out. to
Okay,
the
this is what
insurance.
I'm gonna do. We're keeping the fee schedule as is, and then I will inform the leadership of the organization to contact Dr. Alfano tomorrow morning, and you guys can work out your particulars. Let me know how it works.
Nobody, wait a second, nobody gave me
I'm not
permission to
I'm
put candles here.
I'm not the superintendent.
Our policy doesn't prohibit candles,
No,
correct?
No, it does not.
And then I would say if the fire department doesn't prohibit it and insurance doesn't prohibit it, are we in a problem where we may be opening ourselves up to legal liability if we do?
Well, we're
getting
just a
very
guest.
Well, I think, Kevin, you can limit what people do in your facility. You can just tell them you don't use it then.
Are we allowed to light candles in the birthday, if there's a child's birthday? Are you allowed to light candles? Then why should they be able to light it in auditorium?
Now, did we approve this when they filled out the paperwork? We approved it.
We didn't approve candles.
Well, is it in the request paper?
We need to find out. I'm not the bearer of the candles.
Okay, let's take this one step further. What we need to do tomorrow is check the paperwork and request they made, and see if it mentioned it in there. If it did and we approved it, then we don't.
My assumption is, Mr. McEnroe, it told them they couldn't do it because they wanted to know why they couldn't do it.
Is there going to be a different request every week?
No, this is once a year.
This is.
They're only twice a year. They do it the 9th and the 16th.
Right.
Oh, October now.
Yeah, October, the
Oh,
9th and the
twice
16th.
in the same month, this week.
Let me know how it goes.
No, Dr. Lafano, I say no, and so if other people want to give that direction,
I say no.
okay, let's
Same
do
as-
it.
I didn't ask the question.
And I
Well,
think we need
that's
to
okay.
amend our policy to prohibit the burning of candles or any other, we'll come up with language, but I think there needs to be a policy.
And I think that
You're a no?
Emilio has the right idea about battery operated, and
I mean, I don't know if it's part of, if there's
Neither
something
do I, but-
customary with the regular candle.
I'm not an expert in this ceremony, so I cannot tell you, but,
I think the board is
I think
unanimous.
Dr. Fano will become an expert.
and I don't think we could count on our two custodians.
Well,
with
what I'm going to
500
do,
people.
Ms. Trapp, what I'll do is, we will, just as a double insurance, we're going to call the insurance people and find out whether or not they can, have a lighting ceremony, so to speak. But it seems like the board is pretty clear that we don't want
So
to.
if we don't let our children go into the classrooms, why would we let them? We have to follow suit, it has to be fair. Why should we be liable for that?
National Honor Society?
Yeah, we do
Candles in the
it.
auditorium.
We do it.
Right, and we have administrators there, and we have more teachers than we have students there.
Just throw
And
out
it's
the
not
other example.
500 people either. The whole idea is having
Look, the bottom line
policies.
is, if the board is, it looks like the majority of the board is saying no. It is what it is.
Mr. DeAndrea, what are the minutes going to reflect on this conversation?
The majority of the board
The
said no.
majority of the board said no.
I'm not even sure.
And the president didn't ask a question, but there was no.
There was an answer to a question not asked.
We can ask, welcome to the family.
I would recommend we have a definite answer, because if the question arises on the 9th, whether they can or they can't,
Good job.
there's no direction that the board is given, let's give them a direction.
I'll make a motion, we not allow candles.
I'll second that.
You got a motion, and I got a second.
So we can move on
Now you have
And this
to-
is
now
with
you have to take
reference,
the vote.
this is with reference to the event on
to the
Saturday.
event for the next.
Well, maybe
For the
before,
2000.
maybe
The
before,
9th and the 16th.
before we vote, we should probably open up the public comment. We take a vote.
Okay.
But I just want to point out that we knew about this all along, and this is late in the game, so.
I didn't know, I knew about it 2 days ago.
Why didn't we just, yeah, I never heard about it.
I never heard it either.
Okay, but when was the paperwork put in, I guess?
A long time ago, but I didn't know about it until 2 days ago.
All right, it is what it is.
But they were told no candles, correct?
They had
So
to
we're
tell
just
no
reaffirming
candles
your
because they want to
direction.
use candles.
All right, so we're reaffirming your direction.
Right. They were told no candles. That's my assumption. Yeah, why would they ask to use them?
Why? Because the mayor is involved, that's why.
No, but I'm
We're in
saying-
the awkward position the mayor is in. And I like
understand.
Mayor Ryan, don't put us in this position.
I understand.
Yeah. They're making us look like the bad
The
guys.
message is loud and clear, and I agree.
But like you said, let's listen to.
There's a motion.
Yeah.
He wants to open it to the public.
Oh, then we'll, anybody from the public who wishes to speak, you've heard an earful about anything that may come before the board, not just what we discussed, any information, any questions, comments that may come before the board. If not, I'm closing it to the public. I have a motion and I had a second on the table. We have to take a vote.
Basically, the motion will read, not
Prohibit the use
No
of candles.
prohibiting the use of candles during, in any use of school facility.
Understand that that's going to affect the National Honor Society.
Any extra?
No, only for the 9th and the 16th. They just said that was the motion.
9th and the 16th.
She specifically said the 9th and the 16th. Don't read into the
At Dr.
resolution.
Alfano's direction. I said 9th and the 16th.
Only for 2 days.
The 9th and the 16th.
Correct.
This is way too complicated.
Like they just put you on those 2 days, but they can use them whenever
That's the only 2 days they're using the schools.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's the only 2 days they're using the schools.
All right.
Take a vote.
Do we just
About-
want to put the name of the, what's the name of the organization?
Asia.
Well, we have to be real careful that we're signaling out an organization that requested use of our building, has done this practice in the past, and it's religious affiliated. Just want to make sure everybody's aware.
They've used the candles in the past?
Yes.
And we never do this, this is the first we're hearing of it.
Well, generally, the board wouldn't get involved in it. The only
Mike,
reason
what
the
do you
board...
suggest? Like,
Well-
what is your recommendation?
Well, we would never be discussing this if I didn't get the phone calls and emails. And I thought it'd be fair from the head of the Asian, the Association of Sable Indian Americans, who's through the mayor, contacted me. And the mayor is a founder of this organization, so this is how he got involved.
So it's important to him.
Yeah, it is, but our policy is our policy, and that's what I explained to him. I told him that I will bring it up to the board, and I told him
Yeah, but
whatever
we're in
the
an
board
open
decides.
position right now, and
I-
But,
well,
we
gotta
Lori,
make
just
a
so
call.
that you know, I did get contacted by the head of Asia a couple of times. I didn't see anything that the mayor sent, so they were already been hitting me with this already. And this was a couple of days
And I
ago.
think from Dr. Alfano...
I forget the name of the...
And I think Dr. Alfano refusing their request is what prompted the mayor to contact me.
Yeah, but you did the right thing.
Yeah, I know.
He went by the board's policy.
Right, but they requested it because it was forbidden, so they came in.
Right,
And requested it.
Right, we stopped them, correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Brady, they did it one year, we stopped it the next year, okay? And that, we just said, because there was a damage to the floor, period. I mean,
You're
and...
not singling them out. They
No.
cause damage to
No,
the
actually, I don't even think it was this group. I think it was just any group that's using the candles, we stopped them.
Any outside
Okay.
group should not be
So,
allowed to use
that's right.
candles. So let's change the motion to make Mr. McEnroe happy, okay? I'll make a motion that we forbid any outside group from using candles. And I'll second that. Don't we already have policy?
Yes.
We have policy about candles?
We do not have policy about candles, but we certainly will after this meeting.
That's right, yeah. And I refer it
Any
over to
outside
policy.
group, use of candles on school premises.
Did you say outside? Outside. I did.
Outside,
Any
excellent.
outside group, use of candles
Takes any longer, so
on,
we're going to meet the
Yes.
Yankee game tomorrow.
on school property.
Okay, wonderful.
Is that fine?
Take a vote.
Second.
Mr. Bauer?
Yes.
Mrs. Backer?
Yes.
Mr. Bishada?
Yes.
Mrs. Bruno Recuya?
Yes.
Mr. Saya?
Yes.
Mrs. Esposito?
Yes.
Mr. Lembo?
Yes.
Mrs. Trapp?
Yes.
And Mr. McEnroe?
I will support the board, yes.
Come on, Mike.
Well, Mike, you yes or no? Like, don't do
Oh,
it
yes.
for
I said yes, I'm supporting the board. Didn't I say yes? Rewind it. And I said
You gotta
yes.
commit.
Heartfelt.
Yes, I support the board.
So I have to speak to Mrs. Asia, and Mr. Asia.
Well, now that we've finished practicing cleaning,
Yes, we did.
They've been emailing me.
okay, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
3 days.
So moved.
And that is-